Oh, and thank you if you are still here. Apologies that it has been a long time since I've put anything out on this channel. If you follow me over on Twitter or social media and whatnot, you probably know that a month or so ago there was a bit of controversy between myself and Sina Paleo, and something that we were going to be working on, and some people didn't like that, and a whole big thing blew up. And well, I won't go into any of it because I don't need to, but it affected both of us in various ways. It knocked my confidence for a bit and things like that, and just didn't feel like I wasn't reading so much because my mind was all over the place. I was more worried about Sina than anything. So I just didn't really feel like coming on and doing anything. But we are back. We are going to be doing stuff. So I just thought I'd come on just for a few minutes. It's never a few minutes, is it? And waffle at you as I always used to. So the first thing I wanted to say was a little announcement. Most people know, because I've talked about it before, that obviously I review for the merch, Horror DNA, which I tend to do quite a few movie reviews over there at the moment, which is awesome because you can watch a movie in like an hour and a half and then type the review out and you're done, which is brilliant. Obviously I was still reviewing for Scream. I've just joined the team over at Cemetery Dance, and I am absolutely thrilled with that. I mean, Cemetery Dance, it's so amazing. And the first book that I'm going to be working on over there is Faithless, which is the new Hunter Shea arc from Flame Tree Press. So that is awesome. And on that note, because I still get asked sometimes daily about my review policy and things like that, and I really should make one and do one and sort something out. But anyway, really I'm not particularly open to reviews at the moment. I'm working again, which means that I have very little free time. Cemetery Dance and Horror DNA both send me stuff to review, so people obviously send, like publishers and authors send stuff to them and then they divvy it out to the reviewers. And even with Scream, I've started to be, sometimes I get sent stuff. So rather than me reading something and then pitching it and saying, can I review it for you? Quite often I'm getting things. And just for example, the latest book that I got sent from Scream, which will be the review that I put in next, so probably be the October, 650 pages. So it is, when I'm being sent stuff like this as well, it's harder for me to accept newer stuff. Plus there's all still these books here, which a lot of those have been sent to me to review, and I've got over 200 on my Kindle. Anyway, so what I'm saying is it's unlikely, unless we're doing something for like a Nightworms party or something like that, that I will be able to accept new things at the moment. I also beta read quite a bit as well for a few people, especially that there's a few of my writer friends who kind of trust me and I'm like first eyes on. So that kind of stuff's really important. I'm not saying that my reviewing isn't, that's not what I mean, but like getting sort of the feedback on beta reading it is becoming more and more of a thing that I'm doing too. So all I'm trying to say in my usual too many words is that if you're watching this and we don't have a relationship, I haven't already got something, and then you're thinking, oh, a book channel, can I send something to you? By all means reach out, but I probably can't at the moment, and I'm always honest. Somebody asked me today and they said, can I send you, and I'd like to send you a paperback if I can. Now, being a writer and having sent out like 50 odd paperbacks, I know how bloody expensive that is. So I said to them, you know, why don't you send me an ebook, because that's free, isn't it? But also I might not review it for a year, it might be over a year if I've got, you know, sent so many things from different platforms and I just can't get to it. So that's where that is. The new Silver Shamrock anthology, Midnight from Beyond the Stars, which I have a story in, which I'm so happy about, and I get to share TOC with Tim Meyer, woohoo! Along with millions of other amazing people, is now up for pre-order on Amazon, and you can add it on Goodreads. So do that. That's awesome. What else have I got to say? I just finished. What have I been reading? Not as much as I would like, but I did read over the weekend, literally in 2 sittings because it was that good, the new Death's Head Press splatterpunk western by Chandler Morrison, Human-Shaped Fiends. I've got it on my Goodreads bar on the screen behind me because my memory is just terrible. And that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, actually. I mean, I love Death's Head Press stuff anyway, and I love the splatterpunk westerns. I think they're just phenomenal. But this was a bit different. Of course it is one, but it's also something else, and I won't say what because it's I didn't know. Just going into it, I was just like, oh, another western, blah, blah. Oh wow, this is different, and it's brilliant. So if you already love those, then I definitely suggest that you read this. If for whatever reason you were thinking, oh, you know, this is what book, I want to say book 13, I'm not sure, but there's quite a few of them, how can they all be so different? Then again, I implore you, go and read this one because it is that good. I also I think it was a beta read. I think I beta read it for him. I don't think, yeah, I got it before it was an ARC, definitely. So let's say it was a beta read. Only the Stains Remain for Ross Jeffrey, which I think, and I get so confused with this because he's got his finger in so many pies as well. Well done, Ross, you are awesome. I think this one is the Cemetery Gates Media one, which is coming out very, very soon. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's very Ketchum-esque, and I would say Ross is a modern day Ketchum, definitely. It deals with some really rough stuff, for goodness sake, and it's basically it's like a child abuse retribution story. So I imagine it will come with all of the content and trigger warnings and stuff, but if you have any issues with that, if you've been through it, or if you just can't handle that kind of stuff, which a lot of people, especially as parents, can't, then it probably isn't for you. The only thing I would say is that not only is Ross's writing just beautiful anyway, but he deals with it in such a way that although it's implied and inferred and whatnot, he never goes there, if that makes sense, because why would you? You wouldn't when it's kids. So anyway, it is dealt with in a very kind of off scene, a little bit like that scene in The Girl Next Door, where you know exactly what has happened, but Ketchum doesn't actually go there. The actual like worst, most horrible event in the entire book happens off scene. It's that kind of vibe to it, which is again why I would liken him to a modern day Ketchum, and coming from me, because I adore Ketchum, that is praise. Okay, what else am I reading? I am reading well, obviously when you do reviewing stuff, you have certain things that you have to review and certain time frames that you have to review stuff in as well. And then sometimes when I read things for pleasure, I end up feeling a bit guilty. But recently I kind of had a word with myself and said, don't be stupid, you know. It's a bit like DNFing a book. You shouldn't feel guilty about DNFing a book for any reason. Whether I haven't personally ever DNF'd on content, that doesn't mean I'm hard as nails or anything. It's just me. But I have DNF stuff that has genuinely bored me to death, and I've just thought, I haven't got the time for this. I haven't got time to be bored when I'm reading. So the same with that, that I kind of had a word with myself and said, stop feeling guilty for reading stuff that you want to read, as well as stuff that you are asked to read. So I wanted to reread, that's a hell of a lot of reads, isn't it? Wanted to reread Salem's Lot, because I haven't reread this for a long time, and it's just as amazing as I remember. This is, I don't know how many times I've read it now. I think this is actually probably only my 3rd time, so actually it's not too bad. This is an ugly cover. I don't like this cover at all, but my original 80s copy, I've got my mum looking for it, I've had my dad look for it. We don't know what happened to it. It probably ended up in a car boot sale somewhere. But anyway, I'm not at all emotional about that. So I had to buy myself a new copy, and I don't like it. And I think that probably when I've read this, I will try and find myself an old vintage copy on eBay, even if it's all crumpled, because I just don't like this cover. It doesn't sit right with my others. But anyway, so that's what I'm reading when I've had a word with myself and said, just read what you want. You can, even if you just read a chapter or a few pages here and there, just get over it. It's fine. I am going to be sending, obviously, this huge book off to Scream. I am also reading Santa Muerte. So I apologise for that. That was me trying to do it in an accent. Santa Muerte. I can't even speak Spanish, so I shouldn't attempt it. Which is by Sina Player. I think that it might be billed as a YA. That seems to come to mind. And I know some people have this like negative feelings when it comes to seeing something being marketed as a YA. I don't know why that is, really. Maybe they think that, you know, if you're over 30, you shouldn't be reading stuff about teenagers. I don't know, because look at it. I don't know. Anyway, it's really, really good. It's about, like, drug cartels and stuff. So, again, if it is YA, because it centres around a girl called Ari, who is a 17 high schooler. There's a lot of like decapitations and cartel style executions and all that kind of stuff going on. So definitely much the same as Clown in the Cornfield. Just because it's YA doesn't mean that it's going to hold back on stuff. So I'm really enjoying that. Sina is a beautiful writer, beautiful person, beautiful writer. Just adore Sina. So, and then I'm also going to be reviewing, because it's just an all-time favourite book, Ghoul by Mr. Brian Keane himself, that I've sending that one off to Scream as well. So that's good. So that's what I've been reading. I have a beta read lined up and ready to read as soon as I finish this, from one of my own favourite writers, which I am dying to read, literally dying to read. I cannot wait to get my eyes on that. Let's see, have I got any news? I have. It sounds so cliche and boring, and like if I was twittering, then it would be one of these vague tweet type things, but I really have nothing that I'm allowed to say. I'm working on several projects, one of them a huge project which I cannot wait, but because there are other people involved, especially with the big project, until like contracts are signed and other people have committed and all of those kind of things, we're just not allowed to say anything. And I didn't realize like before I became an actual writer, you know, when you see people saying, oh, I've got something and I can't tell you, you're like, yeah, right, you haven't got anything, you're just trying to feign some interest. But it's true, there's just things you're not allowed to say. But there are some cool things happening behind the scenes. And that's about it, really. Like, again, I've done my usual of almost 15 minutes of complete drivel, which nobody cares about. But I wanted to put something back up on the tube for anybody who kindly subscribes and follows me here, but perhaps doesn't follow me on Twitter, or we're not mates on Facebook and stuff. So I am here. I am still alive. I am second vaccinated, so fully vaccinated now. And all of the restrictions are ending like next week or something in the UK, even though the Delta variant, we had like 100 cases overnight in our town, but we're getting rid of all restrictions. Yes, anyway, so I hope that wherever you are staying safe, taking care and all that kind of stuff, and I will be back with more ridiculous waffle that nobody needs to know soon. So thank you.